Hello and welcome to this next episode of 9x Tool Demo, where we bring you the best and latest of SaaS, no-code, and AI. Today I'm joined with Alex from Blobr. Hello, Alex.
Hello, Alex.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Yeah, very pleased to have you on the show. Do you want to tell us first a little bit about yourself and Blobr?
I'm the CEO of Blobr. We are a team of engineers and product people located in France. And we have a lot of experience around APIs. And what we have built is a business assistant that is working 24/7 for you. So you do not miss anything material about your business. It correlates data from all your business data, CRM, analytics, Stripe, for instance. And then you are sure to make data-driven decisions every time.
Sounds quite disruptive. Sounds amazing. How long have you been working on Blobr?
So we pivoted last year. Before we were working on another product really related to APIs, but really on this product for more than 1 year with a team of more than 10 people, 15 now, and really building this next gen, you can call it a BI for any company looking to understand really what is happening in their data.
Amazing. And can you tell us maybe before you show us the tool, who tends to use Blobr?
So actually, at the moment, the main users are either people in sales operations, marketing, and operations. Really like trying to understand what is happening from customer patterns. Is there like any customer that is at risk to churn? Do we have customers that are not paying the invoices? And having this information instead of having to go into a big data warehouse, data lake, where you collect all the information and then you need to make all integrations between all your tools. You just need to connect apps to Blobr, and then you can start to ask questions in natural language. So forget about learning SQL and other hard stuff. Just ask your question in plain English.
Does that mean that some of our users are in the C-suite or VPs that don't have necessarily time to run the queries and the analysis, or is it still operators deep in the trenches that are going to use Blobr?
So definitely like a C-level when they want to have a quick answer to their question instead of bothering all their team. I want this specific insight, and they can be like much more independent. But even for operators, it's easier because you do not need to maintain integrations between your different tools and automations to get KPIs. You can just ask them on Blobr, and then we have good solutions for them as well in the future to replace alerts that they can have in their systems.
Okay, amazing. That sounds like a very powerful and useful tool for many kinds of companies. I wish I probably had some similar solution in the startups I worked before. Do you want to show us the tool?
Yeah, sure. Happy to share my screen. Here I am. I'm on Blobr. I'm in the app section where I can connect my different apps. For the moment, we have three types of apps. So we have Google Analytics, CRM with HubSpot, and Stripe in accounting and finance. Those are the first three apps that we have connected. And to connect, it's super easy. It's either for HubSpot, the authentication system auth, and you can generally log in with your Google account. Google Analytics, the same, and just need to add the Analytics, Google Analytics ID that is easy to find. And Stripe, those are like API keys. So we adapt to the way we can connect for each app and make it super easy for any user to connect in a few seconds.
And I can see from your three sources that you already covered the whole journey with marketing, sales, and billing, having Google Analytics at the beginning of the journey, HubSpot for sales and CSM, and eventually Stripe to see.
As you can see, in integrations that could come next are product analytics to even complement the journey.
Super. So here you've already set up the integrations.
Yes.
If I were a completely new user, basically my onboarding consists in just adding these integrations.
Exactly. That's the only onboarding you need. Just connect the app that you want to be connected to a Blobr, and then you can start to use a Blobr. That's the only step that you need to do.
Super.
And definitely, we'll have more integrations coming next, and we are open as well to get feedback about what is the dream stack that people want to have to connect to Blobr.
So once I have that, what is next?
So next we'll have things other CRMs like a Pipedrive and Mixpanel and Salesforce as the next to come as well.
Okay, super. And so these are integration plan on the roadmap that you're already working on, and you're trying to define the order with these buttons here.
Yes, exactly. To understand which one we should do first. We are already working on them, and we plan to release the integrations much quicker than what we have done for the first three ones, because now we have the frame about how to connect those applications, so that now we can do it much more at scale in the coming weeks and months.
Okay, amazing. Looking forward to seeing more of these here. And now, how do we use Blobr once we've connected these applications?
So basically, it's like a chat. So really familiar with ChatGPT. It's a chat where you select the apps that you want to connect. For instance, you can decide you connect only one app or several apps. The full potential is, of course, when you connect different apps with Blobr. But still, even when you connect one app like Google Analytics, you can then ask questions that are quite often very difficult to find in a Google Analytics interface. So here I've selected Google Analytics as an option for my chat. And then on the right, I can see a list of prompts that are suggested that I can use as like a quick test. So for instance, I can say how many page views has each of the top 10 URLs of my website received.
Like definitely going to take a couple of minutes of somebody else's time or your time.
Yeah, definitely. And it's much quicker with Blobr, and you don't need to be an expert in the tool, so that everyone can be data driven. As you can share it, everyone can really use and ask a question directly in a chat. Much more convenient than going to an interface and trying to understand where to find this info. And basically, how it works in the backend, it's connecting to the API from Google Analytics, translating what I've written as a question, like how many page views, into the right request in the API, consuming the API response, and then making sense of the API response to answer to me as a user.
And the result landed amazing. So I have a clear answer to my initial questions. I have the number of views, I have the top 10 pages, and it also specifies the time window.
Exactly.
So instant response.
Instant response. And what is nice is that in this conversation, I can ask more questions, and I can even change, for instance, let's try in French, just saying what about last week? And then it understands a different language, and it understands as well the context of the question. So it can make exactly the same request and understand that now he needs to make the request for the week before.
I love what you were mentioning. This is a bit the empty state for Blobr, or the loading state for Blobr.
Yeah.
And you put some care into letting people wait with a little touch of branding and humor. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we have we had fun doing that with the team. That was fun. So here it's going to make the same request, but for the week before. So here I have my results, and then I can, for each of the requests that you can see here, I have like answer details option. So showing that it's making some calls to the API, and I can see as well in the debug section more information about the API calls that have been made. So for instance, here I can see the start date and the end date, and that it's really focusing on the metric of page views that the API has been queried.
Oh, that's super cool if you want to know specifically how it was made, because I guess in some cases you might have questions as to how these metrics were built in the first place, and you want to be sure that the data generated was correct.
Exactly, because sometimes between the question and the interpretation about how they should look like, there might be some gaps, right? And usually it's written in the response, like, what are my recent interactions with customers? It's really hard for the AI to understand what it means recent. Is it like the last 3 months, the last months, and so on? So it will make a decision like, I'm going to check for the last 3 months, and usually it's going to explicit it in the response to say, I've checked the last 3 months. If you want something different, let me know.
Can you, for instance, based on the first 2 responses, calculate the percentage, have it calculate the percentage difference from 1 week to another? Is it able to do this kind of analysis?
Quite often the best is actually to make this kind of analysis more like in one question.
As initial query.
Yeah, like an initial query. Because if you ask like too many questions and then ask to make a summary yourself, the issue is that the context that is going to be provided is going to be too long for the AI to not hallucinate.
Okay.
So because it needs to take into account all the API calls and so on that have been done. Whereas if you ask the question right away, we have made optimizations so that the context window is not going to be blocked, and so that it's working much better doing this way.
Other question, can I save? So here you have a list of prompt examples. Can we have company prompts or personal prompts, things that I will have on a recurring basis?
It's definitely something that we are working on, that you can save prompts or even save alerts. So saying, I want this type of question to be asked every day. And if there is something that is critical or important, for instance, I want to know which customers risk to churn, and if you have results of more than 2 customers at risk to churn, you send me an alert by email. So these kind of things that we are working on, and that will be released as well very soon for customers.
Super cool. Sign me up. Very good, very convincing demo. Maybe as closing remarks, so where is the product headed next?
Definitely what we plan to have is the alerting system. So it's not only that you need to ask the question, but you have like reports generated for you and alerts based on what matters the most for you, so that you can be alerted like even daily or weekly about some things that matter the most to you. So we're working a lot on that, and definitely to integrate much more apps in the future. So really to scale the number of apps that we can integrate.
And if we want to our preferred app, you already have in the interface some suggestions.
Exactly.
We can upvote Airtable first, for instance.
Yeah.
Or if we're Salesforce users and we want to see Blobr read Salesforce data, we can go and upload it, and your team will take that into account.
Definitely.
Awesome. Maybe one last question. How much does it cost? How does your pricing plan work?
So it's a subscription model. The first 25 questions ever are free. So you can start and play with it. And then afterwards, it's depending on the number of questions that are used. So we have a first plan at 49 euros, and then going to 299 euros for larger plans with more questions that you can ask every month. So it's a monthly subscription plan.
Okay. And that's, so if you think about it, and if you're watching this and you're considering using Blobr, you've seen how easy it is to integrate. You basically create an account, you can connect one of your sources if you're using Stripe, HubSpot, or Google Analytics, and you can get 25 questions for free. So literally, that's a product that needs almost no onboarding. So you could try it now, just go on their website, start a trial, and see whether Blobr can help you answer questions. Thanks a lot, Alex, for joining us. Very excited about Blobr and what you guys are building next. And thanks for joining us for the show.
Thank you, Alex, for having me.